Hey guys, Dennis here from Submission Radio. I hope everyone's having a good Easter weekend. I wasn't actually going to plan. I wasn't actually going to do this. I was going to jump out after watching WrestleMania this weekend. It's not really something that we talk about on the channel, so don't worry. Back to the MMA content this week. I've got some really fun stuff coming up, some big things, including a couple of cool live things happening on the channel. But I just had to react to this year's WrestleMania. And listen, I know there was a lot of UFC people there. The TKO group owned it. It was in Las Vegas. I had a lot of friends there and fighters that I'm friends with, and of course, media members that are friends with their lives. So you want to see a big show. And a part of me was bummed out because, I wasn't there. I would have loved to be there, especially before I watched the show to check it out. What a lineup, and also what a lead up, right? John Cena turning heel. Now, for the people that don't realize, Casper and I, we loved pro wrestling growing up. I'm training to become a pro wrestler as a little hobby on the side. It's something that's been a part of our lives for a really, really long time. So I still love to watch WrestleMania. And I'm just going to start off with this main event. Could this main event, this WrestleMania 41 main event, have happened in any dumber, stupider, more disappointing ways than what we saw just now happen to kick off, finish off night two over there in Las Vegas? I mean, all power to Triple H. I think what he's done with WWE has been impressive. I like how he works with different talents, and I like some of the types of matches that they have. There was definitely a stale thing going on with Vince McMahon where he would kind of have similar stuff all the time, and he loved all the big men and coming in and doing all that stuff. But you can't tell me that he would have been happy with a finish like this. You got John Cena turning heel. So I'm just going to break it down real quickly for everybody out there at home who didn't watch wrestling. I don't watch Raw and SmackDown weekly, but basically there was this big moment. I even got a T-shirt somewhere where it was like John Cena turning heel, which means turning into a bad guy. John Cena was hugging, Cody Rhodes, and then The Rock gave one of these, and then John Cena turned it. All of us were like, here we go. We've been waiting John Cena turn heel for a really long time. He did turn heel a couple of times in the past, but not after that big face run that he had with face means good guy. Not after that run. He kind of became popular by being a bad guy and doing these raps and stuff. And ever since then, he couldn't really turn into a bad guy outside of this one program he did with The Rock. But anyway, long story short, here we go. This guy, he's turned into a bad guy. What's going to happen? Is he going to have new music? Is he going to have a different outfit? Is he going to come out and blah, blah, blah? And it's just like week by week by week, they took what was supposed to be a hot proposition for John Cena to retire on this big bad guy moment. And they just, for me personally, just put this thing down the toilet. He came out in the same jorts with the same weird looking shirts. And I guess he explained it, in his promos, and kind of did do this whole thing, or he said, the fans this and the fans that. And, he made people feel like we're the ones who let him down. He had, a decent promo with Cody Rhodes, but all through that all the promos and the lead up, it just felt like John Cena was overacting. I don't know. You guys tell me in the comments below, because I don't watch pro wrestling outside of, the big WrestleMania shows, maybe a Royal Rumble here and there, and a couple of AEW things. You tell me if I'm wrong, but it felt like, and by the way, I'm guessing maybe if some of the guys from the wrestling school see this, they'll be like, well, dude, who are you to say anything? You're just some trainee pro wrestler. But I think that as fans, right? And, I'm a mark. We're all marks. We love being marks. What's a mark? Mark's a hardcore wrestling fan who's kind of into it, right? I think we all deserve to be disgusted by what happened this weekend with John Cena. So, yeah, this guy came out, he kind of overacted for me. He didn't do the heel stuff we were hoping for. And then, the other thing is, what happened with The Rock? Why was The Rock not a part of this buildup? Where did he go? We're going to get to that a little bit later when we talk about this match. I want to talk about Travis Scott. In the moment, and by the way, I get it. I'm out of touch. I don't know. I think he's done some sneakers. I love sneakers. For the people don't realize, I love buying Nikes. I've got garages and garages, full of Nike. Oh, not garage. I got one garage that's full of dirty Nikes, but I'm buying Nikes all the time. That's my number one pick. I love Jordans. I love Jordan 1s. I'm a big basketball fan. I love the Boston Celtics. That's my team, but I love Jordans. So I collect Jordans, Nikes, Nike lows, highs, the whole shebang, pandas, all that crap. But why was this guy a part of that moment with The Rock to begin with? No offense, man. Travis Scott, you seem like a nice guy, but you're an absolute idiot, man. You come out, you punch Cody Rhodes in the head for real. You're walking out with a hardcore title. Like, what do you have to do with any of this? He's in the background of these photos, messing all of it up. And it's just an example of the WWE just sort of leaning on someone who can, I guess, increase their engagement, but doing it in all the wrong kind of ways. And I mean, I know that we're all positive with Triple H taking over the company and stuff, but where is the tie-in between Travis Scott and this storyline? What does Travis Scott have to do with this storyline? Somebody please tell me. I probably missed it, but tell me. Why was he standing in the middle of that ring as John Cena had the most pivotal moment of his career? Now, I get it. John Cena wants a movie career. I get it. The Rock wants to sell facial cream in Target, and The Rock wants to sell tequila, and The Rock wants to sell crappy movies to Chinese markets, and The Rock wants to do all The Rock stuff. But isn't there a part of The Rock that kind of feels like an idiot for allowing all this thing to happen? I mean, he's on the board now in the WWE, but if he's a part of this storyline, does he not have more responsibility to us as the fans who bought into this storyline because of this angle that he has with Cody Rhodes? Anyway, continuing on. WrestleMania happens. WrestleMania Night 1, by the way, just quickly, kind of a disappointment as well. I got to ask everybody out there. Again, we'll be back to the MMA content, I promise. Tomorrow I'll have a fun interview for everybody tomorrow, and I got some fun stuff happening this week. I'll announce it later. I don't want to say it now, but there'll be some fun stuff later for all the MMA fans out there. But could someone tell me what the hell happened with that Gunter Uso match? I didn't watch the build up to it. All I saw is Uso take about 25 years to get to the ring. Gunter came out. They had what I thought was a terrible match, right? Apparently, there were high stakes involved. There's guys who've been beating up this guy's family from what I heard in the build-up. Somehow, Uso comes in, out-wrestles Gunter, a guy that was supposed to be like, and I get it's all a work and it's all fake. This guy's supposed to be like some ring general or something, and now this guy's doing his own submissions and moves to him with no real explanation as to where he picked all this stuff up from. Like, Uso is not exactly a technical wrestler. He's more of a high flyer. Then he finishes this guy off with his own move, which is a rear naked choke, which, by the way, for all of us MMA fans, when we watch them use real shoot holds like a rear naked choke, you're like, dude, if you're going to do a rear naked choke and you're finishing it, you got to make sure you get your positions right, because even the biggest noob to martial art now knows how to put in a rear naked choke. Like, most of us have done jiu-jitsu for a number of years. Most of us have been in the wrestling room. So why would Gunter get choked out like that by Uso? Can someone tell that to me? I don't know. Tell me in the comment section below. You guys are probably all going to say, yo, man, shut the F up. Like, what are you on about? I'm just telling you my aspect of it is that you put a rear naked choke on someone, you're like a ring general like Gunter, and you tap like that straight away. We've all been in rear naked chokes before. Many of us have just elected not to tap because it's just a rear naked choke. You might go out for a couple of seconds, worst case scenario. Like, if in a fight, for example, in the UFC, unless you apply the rear naked choke over someone's windpipe, which is like the painful way to apply it. If it is the one that Uso was doing, which is the blood one, you try to fight out of it, or you get out. And by the way, like, no hooks, nothing. He just fell on top of him. And this guy's the ring general that's supposed to be a master at all these moves. He doesn't even know how to handle his own finishing move, let alone the fact that he probably didn't even really need to tap to it. And it could have built to at least Uso somehow getting it in by accident and then doing the arm thing for him. Anyway, sorry, that match absolutely sucked. And I didn't mind the main event in the first night. But yeah, the second night, like, the ladies did really well, the Rhea Ripley match at the start. But man, there was a lot of bad stuff, like the Logan Paul AJ Styles match. AJ Styles has slowed down so much. He's one of my personal favorites. I was there to see him in Melbourne in 2005. We had a 30-minute time limit match with Christopher Daniels. I'm a huge AJ Styles fan. I watched him a long time ago before he came to the WWE, obviously. But man, that match just did not work. And the four-way was fine, but there was this tag team match with Becky Lynch, and man, they stuffed everything up in that match too. I just got to be honest. And I didn't mind that Joe Henry came out and versed Randy Orton, but I mean, how many times are we going to lean on these TNA guys coming in? Do we not have anyone in the back that could come out, be a bigger surprise to verse Randy Orton in his 20 years of WrestleMania? I know Kevin Owens hurt his neck, but could it not be someone with a little bit more name value, somebody that we thought was going to come into the WWE and make a big return? And we can't bring anyone back outside of Joe Henry. And again, it was a decent match. He got squashed and hit with the RKO a few times. So now the TNA champion kind of looks a little bit like a jobber, but I guess it's cool to see him on the main event stage at WrestleMania and have his moment before he got annihilated by Randy Orton. Anyway, just back to the main event quickly, and I'll let you guys go because this is a quick reaction. I got to go check out this new Costco here in Melbourne, Australia. But okay, so these guys do the match, and right before the match, Stone Cold Steve Austin comes out to announce the attendance record. So the whole time we were talking about the big moment was basically going to be John Cena and Cody Rhodes. They're versing each other, and obviously the big spot was going to be, I mean, in all of our minds, it was going to be, at some point, John Cena maybe hits two scenarios. Maybe like John Cena hits Cody Rhodes with his finisher. The finisher doesn't work. Something happens to the ref. And then, boom, The Rock's music hits. The Rock comes out, and he does that whole thing again where it's like, let's finish this guy off. Something happens to the ref. He's laying on the ground. And if you want Travis Scott out there with The Rock, whatever, but The Rock's got to be out there for Travis. As far as I'm concerned, The Rock's got to be there for Travis Scott to be there. Travis Scott, you're not allowed in a main event of WrestleMania Night 2 without The Rock next to you, right? You're like a little child that The Rock, it's like, all right, make sure if you're Travis Scott or you're under 15 years old, make sure your parents there. You know what I mean? Get The Rock in there. Anyway, long story short, we thought The Rock was going to come out in that scenario, or Cody Rhodes hits his finish on John Cena. Something happens to the ref. He's not there. It's like 1, 2, 3. The crowd's like 1, 2, 3, and then The Rock's music hits, right? Rock comes out, does the cheating stuff to Cody Rhodes, starts beating up with the belt, doing the whole Mama Rhodes thing. John Cena's there, blah, 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 blah. And then, music cuts out, Stone Cold pops up, maybe the lights cut out, Stone Cold pops up, stunner on The Rock, stunner on Cody Rhodes, right? And then you go, all right, well, Stone Cold Steve Austin, he's going to help John Cena, stunner on John Cena. But after he stunners, we'll do stunner John Cena, stunner The Rock, and then stunner Cody Rhodes, right? Even hit Cody Rhodes with a stunner, but you get Cody Rhodes to kind of fall down on John Cena, and then everybody clears out of the ring. The ref wakes up, 1, 2, arm up, yeah, arm up, and then you go on to finish the match. Now, again, what they did tonight, they could have flipped around by doing something like, all right, John Cena just won a 17th title, which, by the way, is warranted. Like, they wanted to give the guy the record. The guy is a workhorse for the WWE. I understand why he deserves it. I don't really understand. Is this his last match, by the way? Someone in the comments tell me, because, is he retiring with the belt? I don't understand what's happening. Like, he must have another match, right? He must have another match. I don't know. But, so that would have made sense. Or if tonight he won the title the way that he won, then Triple H comes out, the music comes out, and he's like, although, what happened here, it can be considered a win for John Cena, and congratulations on your 17th championship win. We don't finish WrestleMania 9-2 with this kind of, cheating. So we're going to send the ref back out there, and I'm going to ring the bell, and I want to see this thing done right. And then Cody Rhodes goes out, wins the belt back. John Cena wins it for the 17th time and then retires with passing the torch on, which is what you generally have to do as a wrestler, for those that don't know at home. But let's say they didn't want to do any of that, right? Let's say they wanted to go down a different path. Why the hell was Travis Scott out there in this match? He came out. It took him 5 minutes to walk out. Came out. What was the purpose of it? And John Cena put his arm up. Like, even the crowd was like, man, this is the shit. And just one more thing. There was a moment, and I'll go, guys, because this is a quick reaction, and I know you guys probably had enough of me, but there's a moment there where, Cody Rhodes has the belt, and then John Cena's there, and then Cody Rhodes like, I'm not going to hit him with the belt. I'm not a bad guy. Again, this is where you stop looking like when someone hits you in the head with the belt as many times as John Cena, or like betrayed you as much as John Cena has, and then you're holding a belt there and you're like, oh, I don't want to be a bad guy, so I'm not going to hit him with the belt. It actually makes you look like a bit of a dipshit. Like, it makes you look like a bit of an idiot. Like, it doesn't make you a good guy or a bad guy. It just makes you look like an idiot, which just gets you boos. Like, you lose your hot streak if you act like an absolute idiot. And this guy's like, I'm not going to hit him with the belt. But he's so stupid that he looks away. And then John Cena kicks him in the nuts and then wins the belt. Come on, guys. I think that the fans deserved a lot better. I think John Cena deserved a lot better. I think the WWE should have done a lot better. And I'm just going to leave it out here as well. And you guys let me know in the comment section below what you thought of this. For me, this was one of the worst WrestleMania finishes in a long time, if not on the list of maybe top 5 worst WrestleMania finishes of all time. But yeah, if you guys don't have enough matches and substance to make it 2 good nights, just go back to doing one night. I think tonight and last night showed us that although there were moments of greatness, man, there was real holes in what's happening. And maybe we need to focus less on buying AAA and getting John Henry and Joe Henry or whatever his name is into matches. And maybe we need to focus up and tighten up the shows a little bit. I don't know. You guys tell me. Oh, by the way, that street match between Damian Priest and Drew McIntyre, you might as well change that from a street fight to a shit fight, right? Does it get any worse than that? Legitimate question. Would those guys have had that match back in the like peak day of WrestleMania 17? It wouldn't have been on the pre-show. Anyway, shout out to the boys that work hard. I know I'm not a pro wrestler and there's different things that comes into it. I understand it's a multi-billion-dollar business, but I'm just approaching this as a fan. I think we might have deserved better. Let me know what you thought in the comment section below. I'll be back with a whole bunch of content for you next week. So tomorrow, starting from tomorrow, back to MMA, of course. And I hope everybody had a great Easter out there. And thanks for tuning in for my little rant. I'll catch you guys later.